Let's do another one of these. What do you think? Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I hope you all are having good holiday vibes. And those of you who aren't in America, I know you don't give a good damn about Thanksgiving, but here in America, that's what's happening right now. We are celebrating Thanksgiving. Personally, I hate the holidays. Every bit of it. Every moment, every second, I can't stand it. For the next month, I'm going to be patiently counting the seconds down for the holiday season to be over. The shopping, the consumerism, the commercialization, the stress, the expectations. You know what I'm talking about. It's the holidays. It's not fun and I don't like it and I can't wait for it to be over with. But in the meantime, I will let music carry me through. And the music I've been listening to today is this. And I know this is probably random. I don't know. I have a random taste in music. Sorry for the glare. I still have the original shrink wrap on this thing. This is a record that came out, I don't know, 44 years ago, 1979. I still have the shrink wrap on it. I bought this at some point in the 80s and it was sealed, and I like to keep shrink wrap on my records whenever possible just to protect my investment, you know what I'm saying? But this is the Raven, the Stranglers. And it's cool because I posted a Stranglers video a couple months ago. I talked about their first album, and that by far has become one of my most popular videos ever. Absolutely the most popular video I posted in the last year, and just one of the top 10 videos in popularity that I've done, period. Total surprise. It was just one of those things that I didn't think anybody would watch it, but it's become one of my most popular. So I can talk about the Stranglers all day, man. I love these guys. And I'm not gonna go into what I think about these guys. And I talked about what my favorite punk bands and the holy trinity of punk bands as I see it. People disagreed with me, some people agreed with me. That's what these videos are for. I'm not looking to have everyone agree with me, but I think the Stranglers are one of the greatest bands, period. Forget about punk or any dumb other genre tag you want to attach to it. I just think the Stranglers are one of the best bands ever, period, of any genre. Put them all together, stir them in a pot. I still think Stranglers are one of the best. Original lineup Stranglers, by the way. I don't have a huge issue with more recent post Hugh Cornwell Stranglers albums. But I have been very vocal about how I get confused when bands continue to call themselves their old names when they don't have the original members with it. I have a distaste for that. So for me, there are the first 10 Stranglers albums, and then everything after that. And The Raven is a very good, excellent album. I love this album. It depends on my mood, it depends on the day, it depends on the year, but my favorite Stranglers albums kind of shift because you Stranglers fans know these guys. Calling them punk is a disservice. I went through this in my first video. I'm not going to hammer on this a lot, but these guys were all over the place. They just did what they wanted to do. That's what made them punk in the first place. They didn't have a sound. They had the Strangler sound, and that was it. And what that meant was that they just did whatever they wanted to do. They wanted to make a rock album or a punk album, they did that. They wanted to make an album that was more dance based or synthesizer based or organ based or whatever the hell based, they did that too. They just did what they wanted to do. They were influenced by all kinds of different sounds. And that's what made them cool for me. And some days The Raven is my favorite. And in a lot of ways, this is the first record, their first LP that came out, where we started to see this shift. Their first three albums were more or less similar, steeped in that classic guitar, bass, drums, vocal sound, that punk sound. But then this came out. And if you want to have that linear vision of what punk rock sounds like, this is not that at all. And it's hard to explain what this record sounds like. You just have to listen to it. But this is the first time the Stranglers threw something down on wax that was like, oh, okay, what's this? This doesn't sound like anything they've done before. And it just kind of has its hands in all kinds of pies here. That's why I love this album. It's got pop, it's got soul even. It's got some funk. It's got a little bit of ambience on it. I mean, this is just a great record, man. And like I said before, depending on my mood, depending on the day, depending on the week, this will be my favorite album. Right now, I kind of feel like this is my favorite Stranglers album. That might change tomorrow. I don't know. But today, this week of Thanksgiving 2023, The Raven is my favorite. I thought I'd show this too. I always show albums anyway, but this is kind of a cool thing. It's got a lenticular cover. I don't know if you can kind of, you know what lenticular is. It's like the thick, grainy cover, and it kind of gives you this 3D image. You see that? This is the initial UK press of this record. You can kind of see that. See how the clouds are shifting. Sorry about the glare here, man. Sorry about that. But this is the initial UK press. Here you go on United Artists track listing. This album has one of my all-time favorite Stranglers jams too, Duchess. I know that's one of their biggest hits, but Duchess is just one of those songs that every time it comes on, I smile. I can't help but laugh. I think of the video of them in the robes dancing around the church. It's a hilarious video. They're gurning and making faces at the camera. It's a great video. It's a great song. One of their best, Duchess. And the one song that stands out really from the rest of these, it's really the one pop song or whatever you get on this album. But God, it's a beautiful pop, one of the best pop songs, I think. Just its message, it's a very stern, dark, sarcastic message, just like the video. These guys had a great sense of humor, never more so than on Duchess. Anyway, original UK press, and this is the UK press or the original initial UK press because of this image. I'm not gonna break down every little factoid and piece of information. If you guys want to leave what you want comments you want to leave in the comment section, go ahead. This is an Australian politician at the time. I don't know who he is. I don't remember his name. Someone will obviously post that in the comments. Please do. As an American, as a clueless American, I don't know. I don't know who it was. I just know that this was an Australian politician and this caused controversy and this image had to be removed. So I think unless it's changed, and maybe some later reissue has this, I don't know, but from what I understood, from reading about it years ago, this image had to be removed on all subsequent releases. So you have an original press if you see this image here. This got removed in later images and later inner sleeves. This was just like a plain white image right here. So anyway, this is the initial press, and it's worth it because you get the funky lenticular cover, which is fun. There's Duchess. Cool inner sleeve. I'll show the label. It's very, very boring labels, kind of generic United Artists. You get the picture of the Raven there, but UK issue. I'm assuming this came out in the United States, right? I don't know. This is the only copy I've ever I remember seeing in the wild. I've probably seen it at some point over the years. But yeah, I found this yeah back in the 80s at some point, and it was still sealed. I think I paid maybe $5 for it. That's what used records went for back then. It was still sealed though, so that was cool. Um, but yeah, Stranglers, The Raven. This holiday week, I am listening to this. This is a fun record, and I deeply appreciate records like this because, and I know I harp on this on my channel all the time, but I deeply respect a band from any genre, from any country, from any walk of life, from any era, that just kind of walks to their own tune. They don't make just one thing over and over and over and over again. That's what I love about the Stranglers. Every album they ever did sounds different. They went a different direction. They tried something else, something new, something cool. They let the music press and everyone else who weren't really listening come up with all these little nifty genre tags for them and let them put them in these little holes and in these little corners, whether they were considered punk or whatever, but they didn't pay attention to that. They didn't care if other people did that. In fact, they probably used that to their advantage. But that's when you listen to the records, that's not what you hear. You hear a band that's going off in all kinds of different directions. And they certainly did that after the Raven. And this, for me, is kind of that point of no return for them. They did this album and it surprised people, and then they continue to surprise people after this. They just never made the same sound twice. And this was the start of that. The Raven. Great album. I cannot recommend this enough. If you think you know what the Stranglers sound like, and you've never heard the Raven somehow, if you've never heard Raven somehow being even a passing fan of the Stranglers, go listen to this. I do think a lot of Stranglers, like passing Stranglers fans, maybe have only heard the first couple albums, maybe 3 albums. If that's the case, you haven't heard the Stranglers. You need to dig deeper. This was the beginning of a movement for them, a statement, a statement of non-statement, if you get my drift. They just went on and did their thing, and they didn't really think too much about it. They were very prolific, and they just did what they wanted to do, and they produced a high quality each and every time. Every single album these guys put out in the 70s and 80s is fantastic in its own way. And they definitely started changing it up from here forward. Check out The Raven. You owe it to yourself if you haven't heard this. I'm trying to think of my favorite tracks. I mean, I mentioned Duchess, Baroque Bordello, great song. Nuclear Device, one of my favorite songs. Don't Bring Harry. There's not a bad song on here. This is hilariously poignant, even today. This is an album like there were times in the last, I don't know, 30 plus years that I've heard this album. I thought maybe it sounded a little dated, but that was my own fault. I listened to it now in 2023 and realized this hasn't dated at all. In fact, this just gathers steam, if anything. This sounds better than ever. I put this on this morning. I was like, God, it's perfect. Sounds perfect. This is the world we live in. It's still the same thing 43 years later. Still as pointed and relevant as ever. The Stranglers, The Raven. Listen to this today. Stranglers fans, put this on today. You owe it to yourself to treat yourself this holiday season to one of the great albums, The Stranglers, The Raven. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.